Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks for joining me once again here on the channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you for being here with me, giving me your attention and this support. We're here with our project, right? On anatomy and costume design for outfits. Let's move on now to another part of the costume, which is it's the character's bracelets. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Give me some feedback on what you think. The channel's just starting, so please share your thoughts, okay? Help me build this channel. Without further ado, let's kick on to another part of our character. Of our character, our accessories. So here I start with an ellipse. Okay. As always, you can see here that I'm making it bigger than the character itself, right? I always make the accessories larger because the accessories have a lot of details, so we need to pay more attention when making them. I also have some vision difficulties, as you already know, so I like to make things big so that I can later I shrink them down to the size I think is necessary. Here I'm making it always using a reference. Some things are very detailed and intricate, so we really need a certain reference to guide us. Here, I keep duplicating the ellipses and duplicating the straight lines over and over again until I finally get to the exact design I want. Since it's a complex geometric figure, right? So what we do is we duplicate a lot of the elements, even the individual lines. We make sure to duplicate absolutely everything we need to do in order to significantly speed up our entire creative process, right? It really helps us work much faster. Here, it's a metallic bracelet that we're making with a lot of detail, let's put it that way. And it's somewhat challenging to interpret because it's rather complex. I'm a bit challenged, to be honest with you, when it comes to more geometric things with very precise straight lines and curves and vanishing points. So for me, anatomy actually ends up being easier than the costume itself sometimes, because it's, especially when there are things, as I said, that are very straight, very geometric for me. I have a certain difficulty, but we keep going, we overcome it, each of us with our own challenges, all right? So here we keep following the reference as closely as possible, trying to do things the right way. I think it actually turned out pretty good, right, guys? And we keep going, always duplicating the elements because there really isn't much else to do. What you have to do is really just simplify, right? Don't make things difficult. I'm making another ellipse. I'm not sure if we've already reached the second bracelet here, have we? Maybe we have. Let's see here. Honestly, there are just so many different videos, guys, that sometimes it's actually quite hard for me to remember exactly what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. It's really incredibly complicated, you know, because there are just a lot of tiny little details to keep track of. I told you before that our character was definitely going to be a bit of extra work to finish. We're working on the other bracelet now, right? Remember, there's a specific bracelet for each individual hand, on each wrist. That one was completely metallic. Now I'm going to make the set of bracelets, which is more organic, if I can put it that way, bracelets. Here you have another type of bracelet, the ones with lots of ornaments. There are quite a lot of them here. If you look at the details, they're little handcrafted leather bracelets, intricately braided bracelets with little silver beads that we just made right here now. You see, there's no secret to it, folks. I'm doing all of this just by looking at a reference, okay? Always using ellipses, circles, circumferences, geometric shapes. There's really not much you can get wrong here, okay? It's an exercise in observation. there's really not much you can get wrong, right? Only this one here is a bit more work. All the bracelets, all of this is done on a separate layer, obviously, so you have the freedom to enlarge, shrink, or adjust it however you want. Okay. There are times when I utilize specific types of wearable bracelets to actually track and measure various biological elements, like I'm doing here. Now at this point, there will be a small decorative medal placed right in the middle of this bracelet. From here, we are simply going to duplicate and then carefully redo each of these specific ones. You can see that you have this small connecting ring here, right? This is the piece that will securely attach this little medal directly to the main part of the bracelet. It's the details that make the difference. Guys, don't underestimate the details, okay? At least in my professional work, at least in the specific field of what I do, which is scientific anatomy, and costume design is... Don't underestimate the importance of details, the importance of creativity. As I've been telling you here, be creative, okay? Experiment. In the beginning, when I started doing costume design, trying to come up with outfits, sometimes things would turn out so tacky, so fanciful, but over time we get the hang of it, right? Today, I believe that many of the costumes I make are extravagant, but I like things a bit extravagant, but I think they're not as fanciful as they were in the beginning, you know? And what really gives you this sense are the references, right? Good references. Using designer brands that are famous, renowned brands, right? That have a unique cut, a certain composition, they have a cut, a measurement, a stitching, a perfect fit, right? So nowadays you have a lot of references on the internet. Back when I started, we didn't have many references. Today we do. And clothing speaks, clothing gives the character its traits, it conveys the message you want to send. So be intentional with your clothing, be intentional with your costume. Don't just do anything for the sake of it. Okay, do it so that you can really convey a certain message. I believe that this gives a whole new look to the overall composition. It gives a whole new look, it brings the character to life. When you do something intentionally, when you don't just copy, you know, when you create, that's what makes the difference. So always try to create something new. Practice this beautiful act of creation, this wonderful gift of creating every single day. Because that's where the difference in your work will be, in your boldness, in your vivid imagination, in your great creativity, and within your spirit. Uniqueness, your identity. So always use references, right? Because there's no way to do something like this without them. You'll always need references to create the entire costume. Okay, pay attention to the measurements of the jewelry. Here, for example, you can't make the bracelet too tight on the wrist, you have to imagine. If he took off this bracelet, for example, would he actually be able to remove it? That one, it's not too tight, it's not too loose either. If he lowers his arm, would that bracelet fall off his arm? So you have to think about all of this. Now here I'm going to make the ring. There will also be 2 rings on the hands, 1 ring on each hand. Here the ring is more square shaped with a square stone. There are 2 sides, okay, everyone? One side represents the masculine side, the other side represents the feminine side. So on the masculine side, you'll have a lot of shapes with edges, meaning you'll see squares, rectangles. There, the bracelet is round, but you can see that its texture on the inside, the design of the bracelet, it's full of edges, right? See? And here we made the men's ring, and now we're going to make the women's ring, which is rounder, okay? When you think of masculine, you think of edges. When you think of feminine, you think of curves, okay? In fact, on this arm, you also have a more flamboyant bracelet, more voluminous, right? More extravagant. And that's what will differentiate these two sides, the masculine and the feminine. Okay, we're going to make the other pieces, don't worry. All right then, so we finished another video in our series. Here we made the characters' bracelets. I believe this accessory is finished now. We're now going to move on to another video, to another element of her costume that has quite a lot of stuff. Okay, if you liked it, like, comment, share. I'm a bit distracted, folks, because I'm remembering what I have to do, okay? Because it's a lot of videos. So help me out there. Tell me what you think, how the explanation is. If it's too tiring, because I'm making short videos. If you want a longer video, maybe with more explanation or more educational on how to do it, okay? Because it's like I say, I'm starting the channel now. These videos are the first ones, so I don't really know how to meet your needs very well. Sometimes what's easy for me, for you, is sometimes hard. It's difficult, right? And vice versa. Sometimes I think it needs more time and you say, no, you can make it shorter. Anyway, give me some feedback, comment down here, okay, on the videos. Not just this one, all the others. Keep giving me tips. Do it like this, like that. Whatever the majority wants, that's what I'll do. Got it? Those are the adjustments I'll put in the videos and all that. So like, comment, share. Thank you very much. Done, and we're off to another video. See you later. Thanks, bye-bye.